Restraint as a form of intelligence. Now, a lot of people think that restraint, holding back, means denial. They hear the word and picture giving things up, missing out, or living small. They think restraint is about willpower or discipline. It's something forced from the outside. That's not what restraint really is. Now, listen to me. This is really important. Now, most of the people who feel worn down today aren't suffering because they don't have enough of. They're suffering because they have too much coming at them all the time. All the time. Now, too much food, too much information, too many opinions, too many decisions, too many things asking for their attention. Over time, that constant intake wears a person thin. We've never lived in a time where we have all the information at our fingertips. Now, sleep doesn't repair the way it should. Pain, it lingers, digestion feels off, the mind never quite settles down. People feel restless, but also exhausted, mentally exhausted, and physically. They try to fix it by adding more supplements, more appointments, more stimulation, but nothing really sticks. That's when we use restraint. Restraint starts to matter. Restraint isn't about punishment, it's about intelligence. It's knowing when something is enough and when adding more is actually making things worse. I've had to learn this the hard way myself. The world, it doesn't think like this. It's chaotic. There were times when I thought pushing through was the best answer. If I was tired, I pushed. If I was sore, I ignored it. If my mind felt busy, overstimulated, I filled it with something else. I told myself that that was the real strength, but the body keeps its own account. Eventually, it asked to be repaid. That's when I started to see restraint differently. Older folks, now, they did understand this. Without calling it intelligence, they just called it sense. They didn't eat all day long. They didn't stay up all night unless there was a true reason. They didn't talk just to fill the air. They didn't treat every desire as something that needed to be acted on and grabbed. They watched, observed, they waited. They held back when it mattered. Restraint showed up on how they ate. Meals had space between them. The body had time to digest its food and recover. They didn't just graze all day and wonder why their stomach felt off. It showed up in how they worked and lived. They worked really hard, but they stopped when the work was done. They didn't keep pushing just because they could. It showed up in how they lived. Not every thought was spoken out. Not every urge was just simply followed. Not every moment needed to have a filling, a something to fill it up. That kind of restraint, it protected the body. When you remove constant input, the body can catch up. When you stop overfeeding the system, sleep gets deeper and deeper. When you stop chasing stimulation, the nervous system settles down. Restraint, now listen to me good, restraint gives the body room to heal. So important. This matters more later in life than you can ever imagine. The body doesn't tolerate excess the way it once did. Too much food shows up as inflammation. Too much noise shows up as anxiety. Too much stimulation shows up as a shallow sleep. Too much of anything shows up as pain. Restraint is how you listen before things break. That might mean eating less often, letting the body rest between meals. It might mean fasting occasionally. Not to punish the body, but to give it a chance to clean house, get the toxins out. It might mean drinking water that actually supports you instead of constantly flushing yourself out with bottled water that has nothing. Paying attention to the minerals, potassium, magnesium, all the minerals, so the nerves and muscles have what they need. It might mean going to bed earlier instead of squeezing in one more thing, one more stacked up distraction. Turning something off instead of adding something new. Restraint isn't about deprivation. It's about protection. Faith fits into this as well. Restraint, it just gives the environment a place of trust. When you stop chasing everything, you learn to wait. You learn that not every problem needs immediate reaction on your part. You learn that some things resolve themselves when you stop interfering, when you just step back and quit. Older thinkers, they believed restraint was a sign of maturity. A person who could hold back, who could wait, who could choose carefully, who was a person who could be trusted, not just triggered. Now, that's still true later in life. People aren't looking to you for just the overall fast response speed. They're looking to you for judgment, for calm, for the ability to say, that's enough. They may not tell you this, but deep down that person is. You can't afford that in your own life. This is overloaded. Restraint helps you stay clear. It helps you notice what matters. It helps you conserve energy, needed energy for what is really important in life. Now, this isn't about becoming rigid or joyless person. It's about knowing when enough really is enough. You don't have to remove everything at once. You just have to notice. You just have to notice where excess is costing you more than it's giving back. Restraint is not weakness, it's intelligence. Learn through living. Now, I don't have all this figured out, as you know, but I am still working on this myself. So I encourage you to let's join together. Let's keep moving forward on this journey. And I appreciate you watching. Thank you.